Happy Wednesday and happy Real Housewives of Salt Lake City season because our girls are officially back. And instead of being here and praying for a trailer, we are finally into the days of recapping our show. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to talk about episode 1 of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City season 6. We're also going to talk about Bravo's announcement of Wiveswap Real Housewives edition. And we finally have a very little bit of a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills teaser that you might have caught if you were watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City last night. And we are also going to talk about Real Housewives of Rhode Island because guess what? They're done filming. So that means that the premiere season is coming our way. So come on, get comfortable. Let's kick off this chat. It's hump day. We're almost there. We're almost to Friday. It's almost time to whoop it up. But let me know. What were your thoughts on the Salt Lake City premiere for season 6 last night? I want to know the good, the bad, the ugly. Tell me everything. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. I'm going to do the same. And let's jump right into it. Did I love the premiere? Do I love the ladies till the day I die? Absolutely. Was the premiere what I thought it was going to be? No, it was not. Did I enjoy it? Yeah. Did I want to watch the rerun right after Watch What Happens Live again? Not necessarily, So I'll tell you why. We love Salt Lake City, I think, because they are, they're a newer installment of the franchise. So they had the ability to do, newer things as far as production goes, to try out newer things, more so than an OC, more so than a Beverly Hills, which is so established. And we've seen that, we've been watching them since the early days of reality TV where they were, doing the on the spot interviews outside with no lights and stuff like that, But with Salt Lake City being a newer installment, we didn't necessarily have those committed ties to nostalgia, I think, with the ladies. And so doing things like this, like, what was it, the Blair Witch Project, like type of opening, even was it last season where the cold opening was the ladies talking about, we opened up our lives on this show and for scrutiny to the world. Well, I think that Salt Lake is able to dabble in that world of fun when it comes to production, more so than other shows. Okay. However, there is a limit with everything. Okay. And last night on the premiere, the little creative bits, what I felt like was gimmicks, the overly produced moments of the show were entirely too plentiful, in my opinion. And now, before anybody comes at me and be like, good God, can't we just enjoy it? Man. You're a hater. Oh, my Lord. I tweeted last night. I said, it's a little too produced for me. That was one tweet. The other 85 tweets were laughing and having fun and kikiing and enjoying it. Did anybody respond to those? Absolutely not. All I saw was, God, come on, Grandpa. I'm like, oh my God, I am not even mid-30s yet, and y'all are already digging my grave over here. All I said was that this episode was a little too produced. And it was like, gosh, can't we just enjoy it? Here y'all go already. It's like, I didn't say I didn't enjoy it. I did enjoy it. I didn't turn it off. And though I said I didn't necessarily want to run and watch the rerun after Watch What Happens Live, I still didn't turn it off. Okay. So saying all that to say, it felt a little gimmicky to me, but I'm not talking crap. I didn't hate it. Like, I enjoyed it. It felt good to catch up with the women. It felt like we jumped right back into it. I just hate that we jumped right back into it in a random field in an RV doing the Blair Witch Project and fake SWAT members and camcorders and pretending that Mary knows where the cast trip is even going and her being like, absolutely not. Like, if y'all told me that we were sleeping next to a creek in a field in someone's junkyard, I also would have pulled a Lisa Barlow and gone on a business trip. Okay. So it just felt like from the beginning, I did love that Angie opened the show. Some people might not think that holds any value. I just always find it interesting to see, number one, when a series starts, so like when Rhode Island kicks off, you know, and whenever that may be, it'll be interesting to see who the first lady on camera is to open it up. I think that's always interesting each season to see who opens up the show on the premiere, because I think that that's who's on possibly on the forefront of producers' minds, of editors' minds, when they're, you know, putting the show together and editing it in their like editing base back at the studio, because it kind of indicates maybe who we can expect to spend a lot of time with, and or who they think is driving story, who they think is valuable. And baby, Angie is doing the Sister Wives. She's doing the Wiveswap show. She's doing, I mean, they have her front and center on the little peacock logo for Housewives of Salt Lake City. You know, she, like I said, she sent her cast photo this year, sent her tagline. She was opening the show. So somebody at Bravo's loving Angie, and I ain't mad at them for it. But they opened the show with the RV, Angie picking up Mary, and Angie's like, oh, you know, the ladies think we're going to a hotel. Well, we should have. We absolutely should have. We could have scared each other and had SWAT men and took camcorders and wrongfully wore bikinis and walked around in the woods in the dark and avoided the mud. We could have done all that on the premises of the resort and hotel in which we were staying. Okay. And it would have been one less gimmick added into the premiere. Like, it felt almost like not a parody of Housewives, but a play, like a depiction of what it could be in an episode. You know, if you maybe hadn't really watched the series, I don't know, but it just felt kind of off. You know, some might say that was due to Lisa Barlow's absence. You know, Lisa was the only time you saw Lisa last night was basically in like a throwback scene. You know, I do believe that there was one scene where she called someone and said she was going to be out of town. Yes, it was, because that's when she name dropped and said, I don't want to name drop, but I'm going to be with Ben and Blake, like Ben Affleck and Blake Lively. And listen, I'm going to say this right now. Lisa, I love you. But if Blake Lively and Ben Affleck are in the same zip code as Vita Tequila, I'm going to need it to be a more prominent and well-known product. Otherwise, why are you in the room with them? You know? So it just felt, I don't know, bringing up the Lisa factor just because I saw some tweets saying all they talked about was Lisa. And I also saw Lisa did say she was doing an interview promoting the season, and I believe she was on Chicks in the Office podcast, and she said she described this season as weird, which I number one thought was kind of brave for her to say the season's weird, because I'm sure Bravo doesn't necessarily enjoy like someone saying, you can watch the show, but it's weird. But she picked up on the fact that in the premiere, she said, you know, I wasn't there, but a lot of the women, or some of the women, used my absence as an opportunity to kind of, I guess, put their narrative out there about Lisa. She's referring to, I think, Bronwyn, obviously, because Bronwyn was talking a lot about Lisa's lawsuits and things like that. And I don't know, to be honest, now that I'm sitting here with y'all and talking about it and looking back, I just feel like, did we even need all this? Was this the starting point that we needed for the season? And I believe we all know, or can possibly assume, that the reason Lisa wasn't actually on camera, I'm pretty sure, because she was still negotiating her contract. There were rumors at the beginning of production that she might not even come back because she was negotiating or whatever, and the women were starting to film and she wasn't there. Well, I think this is where we get creative and scrappy, and we rearrange those early filming scenes at home to be some little, you know, filler scenes later in the episode, and then we kickstart when all of our cast is here. Because what it feels like y'all did is set them in a field beside a creek in someone's junkyard to wait and find out if Lisa was going to be signing on for this season. That's what it felt like, you know? And I just feel, you know, it felt a little disjointed to me. It felt like we almost could have just started somewhere else, you know? There was a little bit of foundation, I guess, to the storyline in regards to arguments and disagreements and fights between the cast. We got to see Heather standing up for Lisa Barlow relentlessly to Bronwyn. So it seems like, and Heather already doesn't enjoy Bronwyn, and she admittedly so. And so I feel like that's going to be a lot of their beef this year, is because Bronwyn and Lisa are obviously on the outs, and Heather, who, not talking crap, but kind of the pick me, you know, she's going to do whatever she can to stay in Barlow's good graces. Also, I just saw someone, Matt, said, much love from South Africa. The fact that you're watching from all the way in South Africa is so awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Matt. And you said you stopped watching OC. Well, number one, don't stop. But if you really aren't into it, this is a time to go back and rewatch those old seasons. Go remind yourself why you fell in love with this franchise and these shows in the first place. Like, do OC season 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 7. You know, go do that. Highly suggest. But thank you for watching, Matt. Let's get back to Housewives of Salt Lake City talking. And do we think, oh, it just hit me, baby, maybe the train just rolled up to the station 2 hours late and this is just clicking? Because I did say there were, you know, we all assumed that she wasn't there because it was contract negotiations. Do we think that the whole work event was their way of kind of picking up in that scene and telling that story for her, in the sense that she wasn't filming, so they were already filming. So then they went back basically at the end, or after it was already wrapped, once she signed on, and they just said, oh, Lisa's at a work event. They had her call and say, oh, I can't make it, I have a work thing, and then edit it in before. Maybe that's what it was. And the work trip thing is just yet another gimmick, because they added in the empty confessional chair and all that stuff, you know, to be silly. So if she was on a work trip, why didn't she send like cell phone? You know how sometimes the housewives they'll like send in like footage of them like on a family vacay, and they'll like cut to it. That, you know, the housewives clearly filmed themselves. For example, like when Tamra and Eddie went to Big Bear after the New Orleans thing, and they submitted that footage and showed Tamra walking their dog in the snow. Like, Eddie took a video and they sent it in. Why didn't they do something like that there? Another piece of footage that we need from this episode to make it not feel so gimmicky is the fact that we did, and maybe I took a potty break, or maybe, you know, my easily distracted self was doing God knows what, but did we even see them actually sleep in the RV? Did anybody close their eyes in the RV? You know? Because it's giving that they didn't even sleep there. It's giving that they stayed in a hotel down the street, and this was all just a filming day. You know, like when the Traders, you know, the way that they film and edit the show, it seems as though they stay in the castle when they don't. You know, they stay in a hotel down the street. So we saw them filming in the morning. In the morning in the RV, like, were they, you know, why were I want cameras? They should have had cameras mounted on the walls, like, to, you know, because what if they heard something scary in the middle of the night? No one's there to catch it on camera. There's no way they would have missed that stuff, you know? And like talking about like trying to get comfortable in those little tiny ass bunk beds, you know? I don't know. My friend called me and he was like, do you think they didn't sleep there? And I was like, you know what? Add it to the list of little, you know, things of like that were just setups to try and like have a silly, funny episode. You know, okay, Tracy's saying we saw them in the bed in the morning. Yes, in the RV, but it was in the morning. See, like, I know that we often see housewives like waking up in bed and stuff. And I know that like if they're on a cast trip, I think production has access to the house. because sometimes they'll even have like the production village, you know, where they have like they're watching on the monitors and like this talking to producers and stuff. They'll have their little production village somewhere in the house. So I would imagine they would have had access to go in there and film them. However, there's also times where they film these women waking up at home, waking up. I don't imagine that they're just walking in their house. They probably have to go like let them in, and then you get back in bed. Okay, pretend we're, you know, pretend you didn't just wake up, you know, get comfortable, something like that. So they probably just, if they're already staging as much as they'd staged, I bet you they could have staged waking up. You know, they should have staged sleeping there. And by staging, I mean actually doing it. But so it was the RV and then the SWAT. We started out with the SWAT team. And like, look, you got to think. We're viewers of this show. We are consumers of Housewives news in or out of season. And we basically think about the day that Jen Shah got arrested. Okay. When Jen Shah got arrested, did you find out about it when you watched on the show, or did you find out about it while they were filming because all the news articles broke, all the stories broke? You found out through the news. So last night when we're watching this and the SWAT team is coming up and they're like, you know, approaching the RV, you know, we're supposed to have PTSD like we did for the Jen Shah arrest. We as viewers know that if that were something serious, we would have already known about it. I think that that's where let's kind of break the fourth wall-ish in a sense and have Whitney tell in advance, like, I'm pranking the women. You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost hard to like enjoy a joke and yet another gimmick when we know immediately that it's before there's even a reveal. You know what I'm saying? And so we start with the RV and the whole Mary, you know, them pretending that Mary planned it, even though she's like, absolutely not. Then we got the fake SWAT people. Then we got Brittany showing up in a bikini, which I don't know if that was she probably would do that regardless. And Brittany, I like Brittany. And I made some memes last night for the premiere as a recap. And there was one I was going to do and I forgot to include it. And I might just have to go back and make it. Sweet Leslie Jordan, may he rest in peace, icon. I believe it was during COVID. There was like a viral clip of him where he was like dancing in his room and he was like, Daddy, watch me twirl. Daddy, watch me twirl, like begging for attention. If that ain't Brittany, the moment that they get her mic'd up for every scene of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Daddy, watch me twirl. Ladies, watch me twirl. I have an announcement. Look at me. Look at me. It's like Brittany is, if the cameras are up, Brittany's mind is like, what can I do next? Like, you know how sometimes in production like areas or environments or reality show environments, they'll have their storyboard where they're planning out the movie or planning out the show. Baby, it is the never-ending storyboard, the never-ending story in Brittany's head. She is constantly like, what can I do next? Do I need to show up in a bikini in -6-degree weather? Do I need to announce my engagement that ended before it started? Do I need to start singing? Do I need to beg people to like look at me? Like it is, do I, you know, need to bang Jared Osmond 5 seconds after he bangs someone else, even though I know he's lying about it? It is a lot going on. And I have to say, there's a reason that she's able to get away with it. Because a lot of other ladies, I think if they did all that stuff, I would be like, for the love of God, do less. Do less. But it's kind of, you know, it kind of works for her, you know? Like, even there's someone said, they're like, I saw a tweet last night that said, has there ever been another housewife that like her cast just openly hates her as much as they do, as in openly to her face? For example, Brittany said, oh, we're going to pass my house on the way there. And Mary said, maybe we can drop you off. Like if someone said that to me, I would cry and walk off and y'all would never see me again, you know? But Brittany, what's Brittany doing? Daddy, watch me twirl. I'm already thinking about what else I can say next. You can drop me off, but I'm going to come back. Know it. Know that. Daddy, watch me twirl. Oh my Lord. Have mercy. God bless her. You know, and all that I have no disrespect towards a friend contract, but I know that it ain't a huge friend contract. So God bless her for committing to it. Absolutely. All right. Oh my gosh. All I've talked about is Salt Lake City. We got other things to talk about. Let's talk about the Wiveswap announcement. We got Wendy, Emily, Melissa, and Angie, who are the 4 Real Housewives that have been announced as part of Wiveswap Real Housewives Edition. They will each be heading to 4 locations around the country, swapping lives with moms who aren't on camera, aren't, you know, in the reality world or of the fame circuit, I guess, and living lives. Now, here's my question. If you watch the trailer, and if you watched it, let me know what you think. Joe says to Melissa, well, Joe says everything for Melissa in that trailer because he was pretty much the only one in it. But I caught him saying, oh my gosh, I've been vegan for the last 48 hours. Now, maybe he chose to embark on a veganism journey only the last 48 hours of his swapper person's trip. Otherwise, these ladies only swap lives for 48 hours. I'm like, that's not even enough time to get the lights set up in these houses for the cameras. So I'm really hoping they weren't only gone for 48 hours, but it is only 4 episodes. So it could really only be 48 hours. The first episodes are going to be them preparing, traveling, getting there, initial shocks, then 2 episodes of actually living. So maybe 2 days of filming. And then the last episode, they go home and talk about what they learned being away from their families and lessons and da-da-da-da. Anyway, would love to know what you think. I think I enjoy the concept. I really do. And I think that some of the 4 selected are good for a debut season for this. I think it could have been more impactful, maybe swapping out 2 of them. You know, I think even bringing back a housewife would have been good. Like, this would have been a cool way to blend current and former housewives, you know? Yeah. So it will be interesting to see. I imagine I don't want to say easy production wise because they are basically in 8 locations now that I think about it, right? Yeah. 4. But no, 8. Wow. So I don't know, but we'll see. I want to support it because I do really believe and encourage Bravo to lean into this avenue of content where it is, you know, kind of blending and breaking the 4th wall in the sense that they're blending the cast and personalities of 2 different installments or 2 different shows, multiple shows that we as viewers, you know, enjoy. I think that, like, look at the Next Gen. You know, they just announced the Summer House spinoff today. They teased that. Like, that's what we need, you know? So I hope that it is successful. I do. I really do. And Tracy said swapping with other housewives would be funny. That's what I think. And then we have like more beef and stuff that's like created within the Bravo sphere. So now we're talking, you know, squash that beefs at BravoCon. Now we're talking like, you know, oh, like Alexia swapped with Dolores, and no, I can't do that. Alexia swapped with who's someone? Jen Aiden, and because Jen Aiden upset like Alexia's man, I don't know who that would be right now. Now Teresa's in the middle, even though Teresa wasn't even on the show. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things and stories that can develop from keeping it in that world, but also it will be enjoyable and I think very interesting to see, you know, non-Bravo people, you know, very cool. And I'm like, will they have these ladies like at BravoCon? They should be there. You know, the moms that are switching lives, I think they should all be there. You know, they're going to be now cast on a show. So I hope that we are able to, you know, have that relationship with them, I guess, as viewers, you know, where we get to follow them or keep up with them. You know what I'm saying? All right. We also got a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills teaser last night. And by teaser, it was Rachel Zoe reminding y'all I'm back. And the Bravo check is big, bitch, because this is a solo promo. Okay. Have we ever seen that where a housewife, like only one housewife gets like, she's like, I'm back and it's my first season with these bitches, but they ain't here. I am. So loved it. Do I wish we had some footage from the show? Yes, but I know it's coming. And I also, whoever at Bravo is listening, who does Brielle have to blow to get this same energy for Vicki when she makes her season 20 return? Because I'm just talking about it as it's happening. I'm manifesting it. I want a scene where a light comes on in a studio. All you see is an empty white column podium thing with the shiniest fucking orange you ever seen on it, and one little green little stem and leaf coming out, and you see her hand and that big old diamond grab it, take the front orange out of the frame, lights out, and you hear a woo echo as a dun 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 dun. The theme song ends and shows the gates closing. Done. That would take $6 to make. And my 10% of the idea, you can keep the 60 cents. You know what I'm saying? It's a cheap idea. It's low hanging, like it's low execution, like what you would need to make it happen. We need stuff like this. Little promos like that really energize the fan base and really initiate conversation online, honestly. Quickly, as we wrap up, Real Housewives of Rhode Island has wrapped filming. Andy says that it's amazing. The energy is great. It's very Italian, I think is what he said. So I'm looking forward to being at BravoCon because I imagine it will be the same way that the New York reboot was announced, which was at BravoCon. The ladies all made an appearance, and then we'll probably get like a trailer or something maybe at BravoCon too. So we will see. BravoCon's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot going on this year. I'm tired already just thinking about it. All right, going to go back and look through your comments really quick. Oh my gosh, so many of y'all. Tracy, hello from Washington. Oh, I miss Washington. Moving out of Seattle back to my home state of North Carolina was the worst decision I've ever made. Not to be negative. Just saying that if you're watching this and live in Washington and ever considering moving, really consider where you're moving to. I miss Seattle so much. Let's see. Matt said much love from South Africa. Yes, thank you, Matt. Let's see. Matt says Bravo's launching South Africa, E in South Africa. Wait, no, Bravo's launching in South Africa, replacing E. That's exciting. Very exciting. You'll just have to keep us posted. Come hang out with us and tell us everything. Brittany and her damn announcements. I know. Anna says Brittany is exhausting. Let's see. Daz watching in the UK. Love all the Housewives goss. Me too, girl. Twirl. Yes. Daddy, watch me twirl. Daddy, watch me twirl. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Melissa is on Wiveswap, ? How is Joe going to survive without sex for a week? Well, it might only be 48 hours. Maybe that's why he had to take up veganism. He was like, I got to really find something to distract myself because I can't talk about sex with my wife or have it for 48 hours. You know what I'm saying? SC said, sorry, I'm late. Don't you be sorry, boo. As long as you're here, that's all that matters. You catch up when you can. She also said, Brittany watched old episodes of Housewives. She's trying hard to create a moment for herself. It comes off as desperate and rehearsed. It's like if she did tone it down just a little bit, it would feel maybe more natural, just silly. But it's like, I feel like she hired a production team to help her like write bits. For real, you know? Oh, gosh. Anna, I love Rachel Zoe. Yeah, I can't wait. Honestly, I never watched her show. I was talking to a friend yesterday about how he and I should both go back and watch it to kind of get to know her more as the season approaches. But a lot of people seem to really have loved it, just like you. So I'm very excited to see her on the show. Tracy says, I hope so. I love Vicki. Yes, that's my girl. That's my girl. And I'm headed, Saturday? 3 days to see Vicki. So I fly out Saturday. I'll see her Sunday. We do Jeff Lewis Monday. Then we got 3 interviews Monday after Jeff Lewis. We have meetings Tuesday. And then I fly to Texas Wednesday. So busy. Just like Vicki would, she would want nothing less. All right, everybody. Well, thank y'all so much for coming and hanging out with me. This was so much fun. I can feel that energy for Salt Lake being here. I can tell y'all are excited just as I am, and we will be right back with more to talk about on Friday after we just watch Real Housewives of Orange County and Miami tomorrow. And who knows what else will come our way between now and then. So be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss me notification of me going live, and you can come in here and hang out and chat with me. And yeah, I'll see you right back here on Friday. Besos as always, and Daddy watch me twirl.